Ooh, another lady. That. Hey, it's the home girl. Please wait. Isn't that? What's the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding in the court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Magatobo. Susato. Judicial assistance to the defense. Mato- Kotobo. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. In her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in Furusiki cloth. Oh, she's doing a gumshoe. She's pulling a gumshoe. Then in November, 1:14 p.m., Supreme Court of Judicial Courtroom 2. Okay, cool, we're back here. Okay. I was like, are we really gonna cut away here? Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant in defense. But why this sudden and present ingress into my courtroom? Ha! Judicial assistant and a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted in the court of law other than to testify. That is hardcore backwards. Holy shit. Yes, I fully understand. I only asked for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. The trial's already concluded. 5 minutes. I will now allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful. God, his music is so good. I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now. What is it, a report about something? Written in English. It's Jezebel's Red Research. The English woman? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Rose's laboratory in the medical pathology and borrow this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brooke was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with this case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special cures of cure and effects on human subject. Cura? What's that? I never even heard of that word before. Time's up. The prosecutor demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I'm summarized what I could do. I could know and just side the cover. If you think it would be infallible, please cast your eyes over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. Time to do some fucking reading. I like how she bows and disappears at the same time. Give me a chance. Poison made from the bark of some trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters use it to the closer to prey. Instant paralysis at time is in minute doses. The above mission carries with the place of injuries about due to wounds, such as affecting it by the blow. Due to the ability to render the human body paralytic, I believe that the toxin could have application is aesthetic. However, the solution for a solution for the respiratory cause of the sulfur blood pressure must be found first. Blah, blah, blah. I am not good at reading this. Prey effects. Okay. Due to the ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin can implicate. Good application as it is. However, a solution for the respiratory cause as a result of a full body. Keegan? Good boy. A result of full body must be found first, or the patients will die of suffocation. Ah, she's giving me that death area. Aspiration. Last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present this court? I presume not, but the prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. We're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. The defense does have new evidence. Now look. The unyielding stare of the true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett? Yes, Your Excellency? If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you can grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I had to be politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett, but if it wasn't clear, I realized it was a phrase of a question. However, I must ask you to treat this as an order. Ooh. I have said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. Ding! So, counsel. What is the new evidence that's been to court attention? Oh, the book I just got, duh. What's it? Yes! Miss Isabel Brett. We understand that you were studying under... Okay. You were my phone is cold. Was not ready for that to hit on my lap. We understand that you were studying under Dr. Wilson's unique anniversary doing research? Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison? What? Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel? The toxin knows Kirara. Sounds like a fucking Final Fantasy healing move. Even the slightest amount of deadly poison in the body leads to instant death. What complete other nonsense? You say? I never even heard of it. You wouldn't have. I mean, that you went here to care before one very smooth reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Sorry, my cat decided to stand on two legs and she looked very much like a hot dog. It was very adorable and cute. Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never cared about Kira. Why? Because there is no test available that can detect the presence of highly deadly poison. What? Ding 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 ding. Order, order, order. Council doesn't mean that the poison deleted. According to this report, authority by the visiting research student from England, Cure has long been used by tribes people of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. See, the reason we know the European doctors and scientists. It seems a reasonably well known for European doctor to lace their arrows. The report says that it's produced from an extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the time of the at the turn of the century by explorers. claims that animals shot Fazori laced with cure would suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett? Ooh. Trumpery. These are other trumpery. To start with, even the victim has been injured in some so-called deadly poison. He would have been squirming in his pain, and other diners would have surely noticed. Gershie, what do you say to that, Inspector? Maybe that's not gonna take him out of this. Obviously, what I know is a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that the cure was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment the toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, infected victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, if a man lost his strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair on him for support, Dr. Wilson did, the effects would go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralyzed. I thought the poison causes the death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, leaving the victim unable to move. Unable to breathe. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles of the respiratory to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And after a while, the victim is conscious and aware of just able to move. That's hideous. To observe it, it would look like almost the victim was simply peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, the final moments would be living hell. God damn, that's one of the worst things goes. Holy shit. That's the true nature of this deadly Kura poison. That might be a fate worse than death. Are you suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient, isn't it? I don't know with that. A hitherto unknown poison. There's no means to test we have to tell the difference. If I may, it is you who must be taught. I love her, dude. She's telling him the shit. Of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You still know this honest hard work and they announce the results if you discover them? I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brad, this feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for his his crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I for one refuse to accept it. The idea of some poisons that doesn't even exist in this great European and Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, you Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes. I don't see why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you like little island boys. Don't call us island boys, please don't. That is an insult worse than fate. That is don't call me island boy. Sorry. To an English woman just as myself, this whole affair is for sale for Ferris far comedy. Oh, whatever. You little police games and these foolish corporate entities is laughable to me. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It is time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? Hmm. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. She really just drink from the bottle, huh? Everyone's quiet. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned. So, no Kira. The bottle is clean, is that what you're saying? You look quite in insert. Ah, God, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Sorry, her eyes, I swear to God, popped up before the mask went up to the face. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research. So, salute here in this grand venue, most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I give him more than enough of my time for the friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most grateful with all the assistance you've given. This doesn't make sense. There has to be poison in that bottle. So how? How does she swallow the whole glass and lives the tales to tell? I don't understand it. Well, as opposed to nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend to in London. There has to be poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But there can't be, otherwise she would have kneel over and dead. Come on, RuneScape. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison. Isn't it obvious? If there was poison there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really really astounds me. But sometimes in need of a good standing. Until as dark as your uniform in the ways of war. Oh, is that what the color is supposed to represent? That was galleys in the province of line. You would be front of line. Oh. Well, that has to be the other one. Then go for dip it. Objection! Fool, are you blind? There's no possible way the bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw Miss Rick drinking the water from it. That's right. We should rather influence your argument, I think. And I believe the complication can be explained. How exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in this courtroom somewhere. It has to be. Very well. And the defense truly intends to assert this claim? Then I must ask you to support this with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposed unscathed? in defense, or should I say, the Russian cues. Ah, wait. Oh, they're making this complicated more. Let me save it before I make another bad mistake, please. Let's see now. So it has a hit through the wound. Doesn't it tell me drink it? Describe a person. The answer to this riddle is right, Miss Reynolds. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honestly. I'm just reading Sasan's notes. I concur. Before the students would consider answering the court. We directed to the presence of the section. Which section of the report reveals the allegations to this row? I need to read out the book again one more time then, please. Let me read this book. Special curious. Route to entry. We've been hearing a lot about this Kira poison. And it's left me is about something. Home Council? Well, it sounds like though enthusiast hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace their heads with arrows that they shoot whenever they prey their hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes? And the point of the hunting is to crush prey to eat. Get to the point, please. Relax, Naga, just someone up to pass by. But if they were using these lacy arrows, doesn't that mean that they would be traces of poison left in their prey that hunted themselves are going to be eaten? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum. In this research paper here, under special carriers, it says this. The poison starts to work after it enters the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of the peculiar details seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what was written like this. When the cure enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poison effects. However, when it's entered the body via the mouth, it has no poison effects whatever. What? Keegan? Miss Brett, you're a third in this research. You know Kira's special carrier. You knew Kira's special carrier. I cannot speak today. And you knew that we could make a spectacle of drinking water on any danger to yourself. Keegan? You meddling little... Oh, God, the bird's alive. Oh, the herd mask got more pointy here. I don't know what she said because I was blown away by her. Keegan? What did he say even? Rapscallion! That's what she said. Well, Rosie, it turns out you're even a better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer? Objection! All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I failed to see how it's... Ooh, never mind. So, the little ill-breed little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book that you kind of wrote. Also, how did your mask get more pointy? But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. Get silly. Get silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolish boy logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish flaw. Anything your brain is managed to do is cure its safety and just. It seems likely that effects are neutralized by the ad. It seems likely that the effects are neutralized by the acid nature of the stomach. Oh yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? Stomach. The stomach. So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when it's drunk, the person wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah, that's right. Good gracious, that's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand. Nope. Instead we can prove that he had a cut. Order in court. The logic holds. If that lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected the same way. Are you trying to guess? Yes, this is cure poison is completely irrelevant to the case of the trial. There's a lot going on right now. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you would even. Oh gosh, you go. Could even understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? I never felt like this before. A sort of conviction to break down all the disparities. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. You are... Ooh, that point. The mask got bigger. I don't think so, Miss Jezebel Brett. How dare you use this tone to me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we now know, this poison is completely harmless. Fucking just slaps in the face with a fucking book that shows that his medical. He had a cut in his mouth, damn it. Why would Dr. Wilson alone be killed by this covenant? Miss Brett is ready to point it out, so she drinks from the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects occur only even felt when the poison enters the body through open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking is completely harmless. My knees are clean as hell, I love it. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth the person drank the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been into a dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Uh, ah! Miss Brett, you acknowledged many times in your little testimony already that you're well aware that Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. Ah! So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-big arguments are so prelude. Well, what do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence laying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, it could just slip. Hmm. Yep. Ah, I know. Yes. Yeah. Ah, nice. Boyos. The light carpet under my feet was just giving it for just. I saw you was soaked out of water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? you? You won't get away with this. You can trump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there's really what poison in that bottle or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're not gonna even point out the fact that she's just destroying evidence in front of everybody? Like, that alone is a charge. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph is as clear as day, isn't it? That fourth person was sitting with his back to me. And so, of course, the person who could have shot him from the front is his little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day, using Kura. And then in order to frame his getting over, Grant, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. And then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor in his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. Ooh, she's a hidden gun, you say? So I shot the professor's body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. You have nothing to support your wild claims. The prosecution stands remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. So we're just gonna completely ignore the fact that she destroyed evidence in front of everybody. Alright, cool. Glad to know everybody just fucking hates me. Delivered in cold blood by the accuser in this game, Nordo. Ugh. This is unbelievable. How can this happen? We had her, but now... Is she really gonna get away with this? The way she destroyed evidence was the scene. Game. Yes. We've come this far, but now we need to finish it. But what do you mean? We lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there's any clues left for us now, they must be in your head. In my head. You told me before that your powers observation was one thing you could really depend on. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't mention notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene of that day. Everything you saw, especially everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt, every color. Did no one know? God damn it. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue that is exposed to Infinity Dr. Wilson's killer? I'm gonna have to, otherwise. Kazuma. I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you? He's a magician! Greensgate. Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile with the English woman's face with some evidence. Yeah! Alright, can't wait. It's been negative. This has been niggling me. That is very odd to say, but okay, it's been niggling me for a while. That something feels amiss in my memories that day. Whatever this could be the key to arriving at the truth all about this. Is here somewhere the clue that shows who Dr. Rose's real killer has been. It's the fucking... the blood, duh. Inspector Hasanaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away, probably thinking about this, about that bottle being smashed. As you say a number of times, are you sure of her perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute. What are you going with? Shut up. Keegan? No. Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me for a while now. What memory? I saw the scene shown in front of Prim with my own eyes that day. And I saw it on the wooden base of the plate that there was steak was served on. Was a splatter of blood. What? Oh, really? And what of it? All of a sudden it must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything else. The plate of the steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim could have been directly behind him. He has a fair point. Ah! Yeah. You're a big, strong doggo. Yes. For the blood remained outside of the plate, it implies that the plate is between the victim and the shooter. Keegan? Between the which means that the shooter must have been sitting opposite from the opposite. The shooter must have been sitting opposite of Professor as you were. Just about Brett. I beg your pardon? This is beyond ridiculous. Ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something that the accused apparently just remember seeing? And Hasanaga coming in the clutch. She has a little. This could be the moment of my entire career in the police force I'm leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of pursuing evidence on the scene of the crime, I took it and meet it all, and I don't care they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you have been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. God, I love this dude. This is so fucking stupid. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blessing in his breastplate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate with the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you order. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No blood. No blood anywhere. But, but no. That's impossible! I knew I saw it, sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What's an unbecoming expression, little boy? Oh, that bird got huge. Alright, I'll let you guys out. Oh, look. Ah! My voice is dying. Like her nose. How are you sleeping like that? You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. That's even more racist. Ah! Can agree more. In the case of disgrace of the empire. Did he just insult it? I could agree. In the case of disgrace to the empire. Let's hope so. This less pretend and courtroom proceeding is painful to watch. But I do promise the best to forget all of it when it's over. Ha! So there's clarity. I'm sorry, look at the cues. What is it? Well, let's have a look over it, shall we, lady? You offered me it. Huh? What the? What in the world is this? I think it's a Kaboy coin. The hallmark from the Hoy era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what is it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a home Kaboy? It's perfect to meat juices. It looks like you're gonna condition. Imagine very powerful. Is this the first time that they would do? I don't think you ever will again. This is your I certainly never expected to find precious quantities of the cup. And it's from the Hoa era too. That we were really proud of him. He's well marinated juices as well. Well, are you thinking of eating it? No. But the next time we order a steak in this fancy restaurant, one thing for sure. My heart's gonna be racing as I lift that meat if you're in it for a prize. That doesn't work that way, homie. I think we have the wrong end to stick about this first. Kebab corn underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. I don't know why. Yeah, so yeah, okay. I thought it would change up the text of the steak. Mm-hmm. Oh shit. Okay. It's a cow or a bull, really. Greenscape. It's not over yet. Now to the final grab. Never stop believing in yourself. Zero. Come here. Zero. Good boy. I love Eddie's face, buddy. Believe in myself. Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. That was my nuts. Why you gotta fucking step on them? Ow. Okay. There's only thing that shocking is the unhealthy fasting with beef steak. Hey, man, don't go insulting beef. Was it clear, haven't I? I would not be able to turn a blind eye anywhere necessary to this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brent, but we must ensure our thorough examination of the evidence. I would not give a ruling until I completely satisfied all reasonable doubts of this file. I see. As a new affirmative ally of the country, it is still your position. Thank you. Great to see. Counsel for the defense, will you not clearly show the court where you're... Okay, no.
Got it.
Good gracious, that's... A, a, a cabal? What on earth? A horror arrow one too. Hey, Miss Brett. This is a fact of beef that you ordered at the restaurant the day of the questioning. Is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up.
What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what that is, but I want no part of it.
Objection.
I fail to see how this is irrelevant. A coin underneath the meat? I could have simply been a careless mate about the shift in a moment of distraction. What?
Objection.
Don't be a sir. We're supposed to believe this happened by accident kitchen? I've real hard come out and just hit. Hey. Stop it. You're the little one I know. This turns out to be irrelevant in the case. I'll rip up my ticket. There'll be a service leaders evident. A real bondcodes evident underneath of that piece of steak. If it turns out to be irrelevant in this case, I'll rip up my ticket right now. He was not. He's right. Can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Consul? A real bondcode just happened underneath of that piece of steak. This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll give up my lawyering job right now.
Objection!
You're not actually. By all means, don't let this stop you. No one's inviting you anything. God damn, that's a savage boy. Perhaps the way she realized that he's using on it. Even though I'm the one on trial. Nah. Even though I'm the one on trial here. What is this? A shizzle? As the owner of this coin, we explain who's doing this thing. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner is going to... How old is Isabel? She's 24. Oh. Huh. Oh, she's 16, really?
Take that!
I had to read to make sure. Obviously, it can only be the Queen did for no Christy characters. Kara as in Mr. Cucumber or something. Also, these particular Japanese are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military surgeon, correct? Hold on for a second. Alright, Zero. And exactly the moment the guns fire. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor, so what were you doing? Hunting for a treasure. The horror, come on, must prize cool. This whole and can combine, do you mean to tell me?
Objection!
Please, why would it... A serious routine of maintenance.
Yes!
Officer! Serious moment for everybody. Can't believe we come back around the pair again. But I have a hunch. A strong hunch. Yeah, we chased something real significant in this bottom. We'll follow the key to eliminate the case.